great. If not, as always, hope it gets better for you. So welcome to another Friday Night Live Q&A where we talk about freshwater aquarium keeping, whether it's just shrimp, fish, plants, whatever you want to put in your aquarium, how you want to keep it, filter, no filter, water change, no water change. But like everything in this aquarium hobby and life, it all comes with balance. So that's what we're here, is to help you guys out with that. And also, if I don't know questions, we've got an awesome community to help us out as well. So hope you guys are all having a good Valentine's Day, and that you tell your loved ones that you love them. And for you guys, I appreciate all you guys who have been supporting me. Much love out to you guys. Thank you so much, because I would not be here where I am. What got me on that lip? I didn't see that. Should probably look in the mirror before I came on here, but it's got a little pimple. Anyways, self-conscious. Um, yeah, so website is updated. I did get that done. So have put a lot more up on the website. So if you guys haven't been there for a while, I've been waiting for stuff, check it out. And then also I've got a video coming out for you guys tomorrow on goldfish breeding. Now I could have like drug it out to like a real long video, but I actually kept it pretty short, only about 4 minutes, and showing you guys how I actually bred goldfish with no filter, and that it could actually be done because there were so many people who said it could not be done. So that will be out for you guys tomorrow. Hello, you guys coming in? Night Owl Aquatics, Dean Stevenson, Long Family Shoal. Good to see you in here. Lake Missoula. Good to see you in here, Ben. But I hope you guys' aquariums are doing well. I right before I got on here, I was like, man, what am I gonna really talk about? Because it's been somewhat mellow as far as this week. It was actually the last week that her parents were here and had just spent a lot of time visiting with family, doing that whole thing. AZBC says, itching for a new full LRB fish room tour. Any plans for you or one of your guests putting one out soon? So I thought Joey, King of DIY, was going to end up doing the full tour, but we kind of just ran out of time, didn't really have time to do the full tour, and it was more of just kind of a snippet. I should probably do, like, I need to do one myself that I haven't done for a long time. And I mean, I think that would be the best way to go about it. Also, need to do a tour of this plant room. We've been needing to do it for a long time. But I am starting to get back on the wagon of making videos for you guys. And we'll be doing that. So, yep, this Saturday, look out for one. Still got to start putting shorts and stuff together for the other medias, but we'll get to that. But soon, AZBC. A lot has changed, and been tempted to move stuff outside, but it looks like there's another cold spell coming. That's awesome, Mario. Glad to hear you're excited for it. He's got his order of Jesus Marie live bearing fish coming through. Really cool live bearer fish. Has like the sparkling side. I haven't added it to the website yet, just because I don't have a whole lot of numbers, which to me, like, I've probably got, I don't know, 40 or so, but I still could use about 100 before I really want to let go of them. Well, hello, you guys coming in. Good to see you guys. So, main reason why we're here, if you got questions, that's what we're trying to help for. It seems like, I don't know, there's maybe a lot more people who do these Q&As now. But for the most part, like, I usually have you guys who have been supporting me for a long time come in and and you guys have already heard me spill about so much already within the hobby, and you guys have really taken to it, so you guys know So the trick is bringing newcomers in to help them out. And with the way social media is going anymore, it's really hard to bring in new people to your channel unless you're just constantly pushing content. And I don't know. That's probably what I'm gonna have to do is just get back to hardcore pushing content. Because if not, like, I don't know. You guys know I've got lots of things to do with my time. Carrie Britton says, man, got setback heavy placing an order tonight. Thanks for all you do, brother. Well, thank you, Carrie. Appreciate that. Aquarium Fantasy says Lucas Petco now has a 125-gallon aquarium and it's on a 50% sale. Oh my God. That's actually huge news, Henry. I think might have to. I don't know. 125. I'm guessing there's still probably like $250 or something. And that's if you can find a Petco with a 125. With the 125, I've got this little spot that's holding 110-gallon tubs in my fish room that I've kind of been thinking I wanted to do bigger tanks there. Um, hmm. Interesting. Good to know, Henry. Good to know. Maybe there'll be a rack in my future. That I don't know if I got the money to fund that because I'm probably looking at a few $1,000s to build 125-gallon racks. Because I'm gonna need at least 4 of them, 4 tanks. Mario Valesco says, "Are you still breeding Lucipinus? Any available?" So I am. Well, I haven't been eggs. I do have a bunch of the young still, but I think I'm gonna hoard them. Like the 4 or 5 old Lucipinus that I had from the old pond. It wasn't much longer that they ended up passing. Like I still got one of the bigger ones left, which is like a mama, and I don't know. I kind of want to put together a couple big schools before I offer them out. Oh, sweet kitty, I got that over here just getting all the chin rubs. And adorable. And distracting. But yeah, if you guys want to know how to braid those Synodontis lucipinus, we got the videos on the channel. With the sell, the cost it's like $500. Still not a bad price of a 125, but I don't know, 4 of them that's 2,000. About a $2,500. I don't really have that right now. Especially now, I've got to freaking go out to my well, and the connection that sparks the well on and off is all corroded, and one of the springs is broke. So about every day, even sometimes multiple times a day, I've got to go out there with a stick and manually move that switch, which is just kind of a pain. It's on its way out, which means I got to get to a new well sooner than later. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate that. JP Jeffries says, first time using black blasting sand, which is super fine cool slag. Am I worried it will cause problems choking off oxygen to the bottom dirt layer? Your thoughts? Thanks. So honestly, I personally haven't had a lot of luck with that black blasting sand. Many people have used it before, had a lot of success. I mean, I have kept things in it, but I have found it to be harder to keep certain things and also the algae growth down on it. Just because if you got a, I mean, I don't know, the definition of a lot of light to not enough light, it can be very variable. But, you know, it just, it seemed like such a algae magnet, absolute algae magnet. I don't know if that's because it gets a lot of reflection from the light that really causes a lot of that algae. But yeah, your microorganisms aren't going to really grow into that slag like they would, say, sand or something else. Hunter says, I've had a rough go at hatching my blue Glarus eggs. They usually aren't making it through week 3. So you're actually getting the fry out? I don't know how warm you're keeping them. If you can keep them a little warmer, like mid 70s towards the lower 80s, that definitely could help you out. If you're keeping them like at low 70s, could be a little tougher. I don't know how hard your water is or what you're raising them in, but if you can make them to week 3, sounds like they're at least eating something. Are they keeping them in like a more natural environment? Run me through your setup of how you're keeping them. Are you methylene bluing them? I'm not a big fan of methylene blue, but sometimes that could cause issues too. Long Family Shoal says, I have a planted 75-gallon with Corey's Black Phantom Tetras, Blueberry Tetras, a Chopre Tetra, some Ember Tetras, some wide rock piles. Do you think I could add Neos? So having that rock pile definitely helps give them somewhere to escape to. I would say you could. With the Tetras, they have pretty small mouths, so the adults definitely would be safe. The babies, over time, could grow up in the nursery if you got nice wide rocks, piles of rocks. You could. I would say when adding shrimp though, because it's usually a lot easier to add the shrimp first and then the fish. But if you're adding the shrimp after the fish, the best time to add the shrimp is actually at night. So if you do get like an order of shrimp, wait until like the middle of the night. I know the timing may not be the best for you either, but if you wait until that tank is dark and the fish have actually gone to sleep, and yes, fish do sleep, they shut down, they go into like a sleep mode at night. Add the shrimp then, because they'll have a lot better chance to survive and find somewhere safe. And make sure they're well fed that day before too. Because if you were to add the shrimp in the middle of the day, especially before you fed them or something, they're going to think it's food because you're the person that dumps the food in. And if they don't see you dumping it in too as you're making out of it, then they're actually less likely to chase those shrimp down. So hopefully that'll help you with adding them. Drake says, I was trying to add some plants and fish to a pond. I thought they had man cichlids, but they have sunfish in there. Someone say maybe green sunfish. I have added 3 swords and 8 cichlids. Well, sounds like a cool pond. There's all kinds of different sunfish. Sounds like you got natives and non-natives. Connor says not getting fry. Eggs turn to fungus. So yeah, one of the biggest problems with the blue gularis killifish right now is fertility rates and having just fertile, viable eggs. They may look like they're fertile, and if they're not, they tend to turn fungusy. Are you putting them on peat moss, which peat moss is a good microbial or antimicrobial and antifungal substrate? Yeah, that happens quite a bit. So the best thing to do when breeding blue gularis and target breeding them is to separate the male and female, and then like usually the first day or two of their spawn, that's the best time to get the eggs where they'll be the most fertile. Aquarium Fantasy says with Vital Care, which also adds another 15% on top of the 50%. The 125-gallon will cost about 350 to 400 with taxes. That's pretty. That's a heck of a deal. Heck of a deal. I might have to keep an eye on them. Maybe I'll collect 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 here and there. man, every time I try to save up my money. That's what this hobby is, right? We just can't help ourselves. But I gotta have something to spend it on, right? Legions Aquatic says, "Hey Lucas, any tips on breeding shrimp quickly? I have 10-gallon with tons of moss, a piece of wood, catappa leaves, and normal gravel tank. About a year and a half old, and water change once per month." I mean, if that's your tank and you don't have shrimp in it, I mean, that tank sounds like it is just absolutely ripe and ready for shrimp. I mean, a year and a half old, it's got wood, it's got catappa leaves, it's got plenty of stuff to scavenge on them. I'd keep them in the mid 70s. That's where you'll get like the quicker rate of breeding or the most balanced rate of breeding. That's really, I mean, the best thing to do is just, I feed mine daily. And what other tips could I give you? I mean, it's really a set it and forget it thing. That's how I keep so many aquariums. Is it's like you set them up, let them do their thing, and then go about their days. Dracon Tosh says 4 fire mouse, 2 convicts, 2 electric blue Jahani, 2 yellow black lab cichlids. If I don't make it, what can I add to the pond since there are some fish in there? I mean, those are all sunfish are just like cichlid types too. I mean, pretty much the same thing. They should all get along together, unless somebody just tries to be king of the mountain. But yeah, as far as what else you should put in there, I mean, it's really up to you. I don't know where you're at or what climate you're in, but it sounds like you're in a warm climate. Angelfish would be kind of cool. Maybe even discus. Matt Flash says, "Hi Lucas, I do all kinds of crazy stuff with a tropical pond like that." Matt Flash says, "Hi Lucas, I bought black and yellow tuxedo guppies from you and they are awesome. Could you tell me a little background on them? Are they a mix of different strains? I really appreciate it." Yeah. So I got them from, oh man, I can't remember. It was some company that got them from like Thai show winners. I can't remember the name of the company, but it was like a year or two ago that I actually got the strain, and I have been breeding it out for the longest time. I have seen it throw a pingu male before, so I think they have pingu blood in them, which is really weird to think about because it's a black and yellow guppy, and if you guys know what a pingu guppy is, it's like a pink, yellow, and blue guppy, which doesn't really like fit the like coloring at all. And it was like I've probably bred, I don't know, a couple hundred pairs of these since, and I've only seen like one or maybe two of those come out of it. So I mean, it's a pretty straight line as far as the lineage goes for guppies, because sometimes they can be all over the place, and they're really prolific, super prolific. But I didn't like create the strain or anything. It's kind of crazy how guppy lines and genetics and stuff change through time, and just breeders and what people want and see come from them. Because there's just been so much mixing throughout the years. That's why I keep mine as like my strained lines. Then if you want randoms, then I got those as well. Mhm. City Sunrise says, experimenting with no filter, no heater tank. Still doing plenty of water changes, and it led me to your videos. Just wanted to say thank you so much for helping me build outlay yellow golden back colony. Well, you're welcome. Glad to see you trying it out. And with shrimp, it's super easy to do. A lot of fish, it's pretty easy to do. Aquarium Fantasy, why you gotta ask me that question right now? Does sour your mascara barbs? So actually, I didn't want to talk about it. I probably should talk about it. I did make a video of it. I still got a group of them, but something bad happened this week, and consensus is, even though I made the video already, is overfeeding and fungus. I got it among us and take them out. And so it's been pretty sad week. Almost didn't even want to get on here because my last one passed away this today. Last couple actually. I knew they were getting to the age, but it wasn't that got them, unfortunately. But that's why big, real importance, real reminder to like not overfeed your tank. And if you start seeing like fungus growth growing in your tank from that, clean it up as much as possible. If not, remove the fish. I tried treating them with medicines and stuff, and I'll probably even freaked out more on that. And as much as I preach, I literally go around the country talking to people about not freaking out when things like that happen, but it's hard not to, especially when they've been your babies for so long. So long. And I don't know. Maybe I could have handled it differently. Maybe could have saved some. I don't know, but I don't know if I could have. They finally passed, and I've had them for so long. I don't know how many years now. Ridiculous amount of years. But yeah, that sucks. Well, I wasn't gonna say anything yet because I wasn't quite. I got the video shot. I haven't put it together at all. It's just kind of been happening this week. I kind of been doing water changes here, trying to fix it up. But as you guys know, it's got all those rocks in them, and it's really hard to clean all that stuff out of the rock. There's literally fungus like growing on top of the rock, and I didn't notice that they weren't eaten for a while because I put a background on the side that I feed on, and I was gone before then, and Sarah was feeding them. And they could have just got way full off of her feeding them because she said that she was throwing food in like 3 or 4 times at a time because they're one of those fish that'll like trick you into like making you think that they're just hungry, just like they've been starved. And yeah, I don't know. Somehow they got overfed. And I've seen it happen before. It's rare that it happens, but when I keep so many tanks, like sometimes that kind of stuff happens. That's very unfortunate. Rarely does it happen. It's one heck of a tank for it to happen on. Mac Markowitz says, do female neo shrimp reach an age where they stop reproducing and have a very old colony of black diamonds? And since moving the new tank, none have bred. Well, what usually happens is if they don't feel comfortable from the move, like if you got spots of comfort and it makes them feel like they can have babies in their new space, hence like rock piles or leaf litter, stuff like that, that will help trigger them to feel comfortable enough to breed, that there's like enough food in the system for them. Shrimp are actually a lot smarter about that kind of stuff than we give them credit for. But I don't know. I've seen some really old shrimp, big old shrimp carrying eggs. So it's really hard to tell, like, where the stopping point would be because I almost think they do it almost until they die. I mean, I've seen some huge mamas. And those are like the grandma shrimp when they get really huge. just carrying babies. But real trick though, if you got new shrimp and you're trying to get them to breed, is it's all about comfortability. Things that they would be comfortable with in their tank. Like I mentioned, rock piles, leaf litter, are some of your best things to add. It's not much. That's about all I need. Oh, glad you like them, TA. See, a lot of my fish, a lot of people don't understand if they haven't like ordered from me before or really know me or how I um sell stuff. I'm like a collector of collectors. So I've been looking at fish for decades from all over the place from many people, many strains, and always try to get the best I can. Korean Cardboard says, "Hi Lucas, any advice on getting rid of trumpet snails from a tank? Assassin snails are prohibited in Korea, so they are not an option. Manual removal, also using food to attract." Yeah, manual removal is about your best option unless you get like clown loaches there. Clown loaches are really good for taking care of them. Or even like pygmy chain loaches. Any of those kind of like sharp snouted loach types. Like something like a what is it, like a dojo. I don't know if dojo loaches really eat snails. I know some of you guys keep dojo loaches. Do they eat snails? I think for the most part, most loaches do. Modern Gala says, "What's a good fix for wasting disease in guppies?" So I think general cure is tends to be one. I don't. I mean, I think sometimes it just happens to guppies too because you'll see it in like I haven't seen it in a long time in any of my strains, but I remember back in the day when I was in Indy, I do remember some of them would like get skinny here and there, but it would never like affect the whole colony. It would only just like be that one. And it could just be a sign of like getting older. When people get cancer or diseases, they sometimes just get skinnier. So it could just be something of that instead of like something that you got to attack the system for, when the best thing to do is not attack the system. Although I kind of feel like I did that with my barbs with what just happened, and I don't know. I don't know why I did, but it's because they were my barbs and I freaked out, I guess. Priscilla M, thank you so much for that $20 super chat and support. Much love to you, Priscilla. Thank you. And awesome to see you in here. I hope you're still doing your art. If you guys don't know who Priscilla M is, she is a amazing artist, has been doing fish art for quite some time. And good to see her around. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. Hippie Zombie says, "Do you have transparent shrimp and can you even?" Oh, I actually have transparent shrimp, aka grass shrimp, that live in my outdoor Florida ponds that are native here. Also have some snowball shrimp. The only problem with them and me in offering them and keeping them is I do feed the tetracolor tropical granules, which sometimes will turn their shells orange. Like they'll get this like little orange color in it because they have that like I can't remember what it's called. Some long Latin name that starts with an A, and it will give them like this coloring. I do have them. I just don't have them on the website or nothing. Aquarium Fantasy says, Lucas, when I get more babies from my mascara barbs, I can send some your way. Yeah, let me know. We may have to talk about that because I mean, I have my backup genetics of multiple groups of times I bred. So it is like a group that has different genes. But once now, since my main group is gone, that's my new main group, and I don't have a second group. So it's kind of like, for me, that's like sitting on a lifeline. Like I've got to have like certain strains of fish backed up. And if I don't have those barbs backed up, because that is one strain, I don't know if I could find that in a store again. Because I've tried to buy Assimilus barbs here and there from places, and them end up being filamentoses or just something completely different and not what I was looking for. And yeah, definitely have to talk. And I'm glad you have some, Henry. I did think about you as this was happening, and that at least I got some out to you, and you're not that far from me. Kitty's got like this little seat over here just batting it away. I think we should just watch Kitty bat this thing. Here, Kitty, you gonna give us a show? Hold on. Kitty break. All right. Let's see. Roll for questions. What's the most expensive fish I have? Whoa. I don't know what the most expensive. Kitty, I can't get that now. I don't know what the most expensive fish is that I have now. I have spent like $500 on pairs of bettas before. The Glossolepis maculosus, I would probably consider the most expensive ones as far as just due to the rarity. Definitely used to be more than now. Trying to think. I don't got anything real crazy expensive. I do want to get some zebra plecos. I think most of my stuff's pretty moderately priced. Like I've got some fish within like the $20 ranges and stuff like that, but nothing like too insane. Oh well, I mean the Matano rice fish, those were $50 a piece, and like you need multiples of those, so that adds up quick. I sell them for like $20 a piece now though. Last time they were online, they were $50 a piece. Like nice guy I am, I put them up for 20. Because yeah, $50 a piece. I don't know how many people are gonna pay for them. And I'd rather just move them and get them into the hobby than make extra money. Because if I don't get them into the hobby, cause then like you just won't find them. And good luck finding them anyways. Those Matano rice fish I got, the Indonesian ones, they're a little different than the Japanese rice fish. They don't tolerate the cold like them though. Kind all nice says, Lucas, my shrimp tank has a lot of mulm. What should I do? Should I remove it or leave it? Kind of left the tank neglected for a few months, but the shrimp are okay, just in low numbers. If you do want to remove it, just due to your own personal choice, remove it little by little. Do not remove a lot at once because it can create instabilities. But for the most part, I would just leave it. Even if they're at few numbers, it's not because of the mold. That's awesome, Aquarium Fantasy. Glad to hear you still got all 30. But that looks awesome. I still yet to see a tank myself personally with like 30 of them. I would love that. You got a video of that on your channel? I mean, I've seen like a short that you had, but have you been making more videos? I can't keep up with everybody's channels. There's no way. Fishy Business says, anyone had snails eat holes in seemingly healthy bush plants minus a little algae? It could happen. Definitely could happen. Especially if they're pond snails. I tend to find that pond snails like They eat holes in plants more than any other snail. And yeah, sometimes like the normal, he says usually is throwing out new leaves, the new growth gets hit quick. Oh, the new growth gets hit quick, then yeah, that's definitely probably snails or something else eating it. That's the new growth. Because sometimes the bottom leaves or old growth will break down naturally and have holes as a new growth comes out. But if it's the new growth, then yeah, it's probably. Mhm. Father Fish in the house. What's up, my dude? Hi, Lucas. Happy to see you. We are enjoying our new shop. New shop. Somebody told me that you had a new shop. I don't know where it was. The Aquatic Experience or somebody mentioned it to me. I didn't. Or the Aquatic Expo. I didn't realize that you guys did that. So I have to look into it. Like I said, it's hard for me to keep up with people's channels. That's what all I got going on. Mostly family. I've been enjoying my family time because life's short and we gotta enjoy our loved ones. Monica WG says Lucas can 2 peacock gungans, a German blue ram, and 8 empire tetras coexist in a 20-gallon long. Glad to catch you live. 2 peacock gungans, a German blue, 8 emperor tetras. That's a rowdy mix. It's a little rowdy mix. They could feel like they could all get along because the ones that are kind of rowdy, the biggest one you'd have to worry about is the German blue ram. Peacock gungans, they kind of stick to themselves, and so are the tetras. But the blue ram, I mean, if he's by himself and they're not in like breed mode trying to be territorial, then it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But if you do got a pair or something and they do get in breed mode, then I think for the most part, the Gungans and the Tetras will kind of keep in their space together. But the Gungans actually like to breed in cracks and crevices. So if you have like a rock pile for the Gungans, that can give them their own space. That could help with that whole combination of them all coexisting. And who knows, you may even find Fry one day because dads actually take pretty good care of them. Queen Blah of Ghosting says, "Can I dose calcium for my plants?" Yeah, definitely. Plants like GH, it's the KH that becomes a problem. So the calcium is good. The bicarbonates is usually what causes most of the issue for the bio skin on a plant. Hmm. Let me get my water real quick. It ain't far. It's just right here. All right. Hippie Zombie says, "Do you have a favorite tank and could you show me it?" I would say probably the favorites right now. Hmm. Honestly, that's the thing. I really don't have a whole lot of favorites because I have just a whole lot of tanks. The lights are kind of off right now, but these are kind of my favorite. Is this Paludarium, which I'll have to. We got to go over this again. I showed you guys how I set it up. It's starting to grow out slowly but surely. That's probably my favorite right now, just because that's a newer build. And then let's see, the mascara barbs was one of mine. Ropefish is pretty good tank right now. It's kind of hard to see him though. There's a lot of tanks I need to reset. It, I've kind of been going more into like farmer mode than I have like who set up this awesome tank and scape or and stuff like that. So I don't know. The goldfish one's really cool right now because of just what's been breeding and coming out of it. So I don't know. There's different reasons why I would have favorites too. I'm really not good at picking favorites either. I like this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that one. Yeah, fishy business. Sounds like you got something snacking on your plants there. Tingry, Tingry says, Lucas, I'm thinking of getting autos for my 20 liter, but I'm unsure on how to treat them once they arise, since I've heard that most autos don't do well initially. Okay, main reason why autos don't do well initially, and I hope this helps other people out who want to get the little auto sinkless fish, is because of their gut biome and how they're fed in most of the environments. So if you have a real sterile environment, there's not a whole lot of biofilm for them to snack on for their gut biome, which their gut biome is mostly made out of mulm and detritus. And a way to help them initially, the best thing you could do is add some leaf litter. Because as that leaf litter breaks down, it gives them something to eat off of and on. And they actually like sticks a lot too. So if you have like twiggy, sticky driftwood, that actually makes them feel real comfortable, and they're used to just eating that biofilm and stuff as it breaks down in the wild. So leaf litter, a little bit of leaf, or just adding one catappa leaf into the system can make a big difference on their survival rate. And hello, everybody, come in. Good to see you all in here. Teddy Sunrise says, any quick tips, advice for calling yellow shrimp, things to look for, etc. So really, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Call them for what you want specifically, but usually it's just trying to get that most yellow out of them. Have a good night, Legion Aquatics. Your Valentine's. Lady LRB says, but snails eat on a bit of plants. Try offering them more food. You know, that doesn't work really so well with snails, because what they'll do is they'll just produce more, then you just end up with a ton more snails. And they will actually populate to the point that they will explode and can cause a crash, because they'll just start dying because there's not enough food one day. And usually they find that balance after that happens. But best thing to do is manually remove them or get a loach or something to take care of the issue. Assassin snails do work well for a while, take some time, but that guy could not keep him where he's at. Elster says, LRB, do you boil catappa leaves or just put them straight in? I just put them straight in. The boiling of the catappa leaf would probably, so it's going to break down differently if you boil it, which it turns it into like more of a soft mush that I guess, I mean, they don't really like rot out as like you would maybe think they would, but they're definitely going to break down a lot quicker and not have like that natural decaying, because when they decay in the wild naturally, the leaf falls in. Sometimes it takes it forever to even sink, and often when we put in the dry catappa leaves, they will actually just float. I actually poke mine down, let the water catch all around it. That helps sinks it, and then you just want it to decay naturally. Because if you boil them, it's not gonna be the same. I mean, you could do it, but it's gonna last you and be better for the system to just put them in here. Yeah, same here. Aquarium Fantasy Mascara Barbs are my favorites too. You're just always so active and hyper and happy to see you. Even though goldfish been really growing on me, mascara barbs are just so unique, so unique. And the ropefish, I mean, they're pretty awesome too. Kind All Night says Lucas, would Goodyids do well in a 10-gallon? It's kind of a small space for them. You've got some eyes and eyes in a 10-gallon, quite a few pairs, but it's still kind of a small tank. I mean, you can keep them in there, but they're not like gonna breed out much for you. If you want it more for conserving, that would be a good way to do it, but would not breed so much. Oh, what? Aquarium maintained by Andy says my neighbor wrote the only book on catawba worms. I don't even know what catawba worms are. Is that supposed to be catawba worms or catawba worms? That sounds pretty different. Says I have a Sierra snail trap going to harvest for a couple days. Yeah, that's a good way to manual remove them is building little snail traps or buying a little snail trap. You know, some people will like cut parts off of a plastic bottle and put food in there and try to trap them in there. Just make sure that food doesn't rot in those traps because it can cause to the water system if it doesn't get eaten properly. Asaya Llewellyn says, Lucas, how are the fish you brought in from the ponds doing indoors? They're actually doing really good. I haven't had any issues with them, which I was kind of worried about that at first. And yeah, haven't had any issues. Always good to see you in here, Asaya. Alex Bradbury, good to see you as well. Like you said, it's been a while, a long time no see. So it's got some running river rainbows from Dr. Peter Unmack this week. Going out fish collecting with him tomorrow. That is awesome. You'd be able to just go out there and catch us some rainbow fish. You don't get that here. I don't know. Was it supposed to be Catalpa or Catapa Aquariums by Andy? But it was spelled Catalpa. Catalpa doesn't have an L. Hippie Zombie says, if I put the dirt I found in the back in my tank and my fish die, will you refund the fish? If I put the dirt I found in the back in my tank, so in like your backyard and your tank. I mean, I don't know what kind of dirt you're using, but I'm not gonna refund it because I don't know what you're gonna fish. I would say that there's nothing to worry about from it as long as it's from like a natural source of dirt. I mean, fish live in natural dirt all over, and God, the stuff that gets dumped in their waterways all the time, it's crazy what a lot of these fish live through. Yeah, you could easily, I don't know, I've done my whole fish room like that, so obviously I'm not scared to. But I could see why, like, if you're not used to it, just because, oh, I didn't go buy the substrate from Petco. I mean, if that's what you want to do, you can do that too. But yeah, watch out for pesticides, etc. Like out in the middle of the country, and really, I don't even know how good my dirt really is because I've found all kinds of litter throughout the yard from God knows what. If he's hungry, says, how do you clean the dirt? I really don't. Like, I dig it. The rain over time has cleaned the dirt, and dirt is dirty, so I don't know how clean you want to get it. I do sun dry it sometimes, not all the time, but I will like spread it out into a kiddie swimming pool and sun dry it, and that can kill some microbials that may be living in it and or get the bugs out. I don't know how necessary that really is because lately I've just been just shoveling it in and throwing it in because it all comes from nature. Nature does what nature does. There you go, Elsa. Run it through the dishwasher. That should be good. No, don't do that. Oh, yeah, catalpa worms that feed on the catalpa tree. Must be a different tree. A dumb question, hippie zombie, at all. No questions are dumb a little bit, but that's just me having fun. It wasn't dumb. It's a legitimate question if you're not used to it or really wrap your mind out over it. We're all at different levels of life and what we're doing, and there's a lot to it. Good God, we can't all know it all. Saya Llewellyn says, Lucas, what were those speckled leertail fish you have with the red-tailed mollies? Were they mollies? They doing well? So those are the Dalmatian mollies. And I've got a ton of them, actually. They're doing really well. They are on the website. And I have noticed some of them, like the younger ones, they won't really have that red tail. And then, like, later on, they'll start developing it. But yeah, I've got all that line on the website. All right, I am at the bottom of the chat. That's where I'm at. So if you got a question, throw it out there because we've only got 8 minutes left, and we're gonna hop off if there's no questions. So, and do not think you have a dumb question. There is no dumb questions. We've all got to learn something at some time, and the only way to do that is by being curious and asking questions. That's how we all learn. That's actually why I love doing these Q&As as well, is sometimes you guys have questions that I don't even think about within the hobby. And I actually am lucky to get a collective of the questions myself about the hobbies too. Because when you guys get me thinking, and I help get you guys thinking, we all get to thinking, and hopefully can make it easier for ourselves. Teddy Sunrise says, "Can I put Caridina in with Neos and both possibly breed?" Yes. You want to try to stay around a neutral water, so something around 200 TDS, maybe slightly acidic towards 170 TDS. Tiger's type of Caridina will definitely do better than the B types. And you definitely can breed them both. The Neos will definitely outbreed the Caridina, usually, just because they just breed in bigger numbers, easier. Aquariums maintained by Andy. GH of KH affect fish? Or how does GH or KH affect fish? So certain fish really do need some KH and GH to absorb through osmosis in the body and how they actually function, like guppies and things like that. Although I've seen people raise and tell me that they raise guppies and things in saltwater rainwater, but it tends to do better for certain fish to be able to absorb some of that mineralization. Some fish it doesn't matter, some fish it does. So usually as long as you've got some of it in there, I mean, most fish are healthy. But as far as how it like actually affects them, if there's not, really couldn't tell you on a scientific what causes the let down or cause issues. I don't know it that deeply. It's because I haven't had to, but I know some fish do need it. Aquarium Fantasy says, Lucas, how are the axolotls? Axolotls are doing good. I want to move them out of his, they're his fish. And so it's really hard to move them out of their tank into something much bigger than what he's got in his room. And I currently got some Oscars in his 55 gallon, but I think when I move the Oscars out to the barn. I may move his axolotls into the 55-gallon just because I want to give them more space, and I really need to get a male. I have all these like beautiful females. No male. But I wish I could give him like a 110-gallon pond. Maybe we'll upgrade him sometime, especially if I get him breeding. Then give him some baby axolotls to grow out in the 40-gallon. Then I can have like the breeders in a bigger tub. Because they do get pretty good size. Dean Stevenson says, one of my tanks is getting a bad smell in it, but I only notice if I move stuff around. The water looks clear and the fish seem okay. Should I worry? Is it like a sour smell? If it's a sour smell, I would definitely recommend changing the water. Maybe something died in there at one point. And you're kind of just smelling a little bit of residual. But if the water's clear, usually it's that smell comes with like a white cloudy water that it's becomes a issue. So I don't know. Is it a newer tank that hasn't quite developed enough? That has enough microorganisms to help impurities? It's really hard to tell without smelling it myself. Like if I could smell a tank, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, this is why," or "This is this." But I would just say do like small water changes here and there, unless it just like really reeks and just like it's pungent. Then I would do like half a water change. Because when it comes down to it, dilution is the solution to a lot of those issues. It just means water change. Teddy Sunrise says, thank you. So Tigers would be best chance for it to happen. I know always a maybe. Yes. Yes, Tigers would best chance. And it can sometimes always be a maybe, but that would be your best chance. And if you do use that active substrate, it actually does make a big difference too. You will get bigger numbers out of those Tiger and B types with that more active substrate, that specialized shrimp substrate. And the Neos can still do all right in it. Running Water says, what types of houseplants can you grow in the aquarium? You know, Lady LRB's been doing some crazy stuff over here, and she's got snake plants in there. She's got the philodendrons, of course, and then a bunch of other random stuff that I don't really know what a lot of these plants are. So hopefully we'll have a video soon where we'll actually cover a lot of those, because I know many of you guys have oh, there's Lady LRB in the chat actually spouting off a few types. Well, I'm gonna take a message of that or a picture of that just so I remember that that's what we need to cover at some point. Any fish will do. Thank you so much for the super chat. $5 super chat. It says, hey Lucas, can you talk a little bit about carbon block that you have used to clean up sink water? Do you still use it? Pros and cons. So I have well water now, so I don't need the carbon block so much. I do actually still have a carbon block though, because I feel like it adds some sort of carbon to my aquariums, which carbon's always good for plant growth. But the main reason for a carbon block was when I lived in the city and I had chlorine and chloramine, which if you guys have a RO unit, you really need to be running these before your RO unit if you want the longevity of your RO unit to last a lot longer. It makes a big difference. And it will help strip out the chlorine chloramine to the point that you do not have to dechlor. So at my old house, where I had hundreds of aquariums all hooked up to city water, and I mean dumped a lot of chlorine in it sometimes, like flushing them and stuff. I never had to worry about that again after I got my carbon block put on, because that would take out all the chlorine chloramines for me. and it just made changing water so much easier and better on the fish too, because when you're adding that water in and it's been dechlorinated before it goes into the tank, because face it, often if we live in the city and we're doing our water change and we're adding our chlorinated water into the aquarium and then dechlorinating it, there's a few moments where that chlorine water is kind of, it's doing things. It's killing microorganisms. It's could be causing issues to your fish. So it definitely made a big difference with just dealing with chlorine and chloramines. But yeah, definitely worth the money. Definitely worth the money. And they're not hard to add if like it's a cut into your main water line and then you just kind of screw it in. Kind of like Legos. I know it could be intimidating for some people, but it's as hard as you'll make it. Kind of says, Lucas, do you recommend having pygmy sunfish with shrimp, or would they eat them all? They got pretty small mouths. They would probably only eat like more of the smaller baby ones, which would be a really good food source for them. Very natural food source for them. Because, like I mentioned here where I am in Florida, we got our native waters, and we've got grass shrimp in them, and we've also got those pygmy sunfish. So probably part of their diet. Same with like cyclops, copiopods, daphnia. But if you put a rock pile in with them, it will give them a safe spot for your shrimp to actually like keep a colony. Like I've even got colonies living with my axolotls because of rock piles. Hippie Zombie says, "Have you ever cried when a fish died?" So I don't cry, but my stomach, ugh, like I get more depressed in my stomach. But like I'm not a crier. I don't even like. Actually, the only thing that really make me cry is when something's just like those beautiful moments, like when something's really happy and just like that's about the only thing that like get me teared up. It's just those really beautiful moments. I don't cry for crap. Fishy Business says, "What should I tweak first, light or ferts?" Just upgraded to a really nice light and a auto doser. First time mixing Nilo CG ferts. Use Rotalia butterfly for mixing calculations. Light 30%, 8 hours with press CO2, algae starting up. So what I would tweak first would be going lighter on your fertilization and maybe lighter on the light. I don't know how strong that light is, but if you're getting a lot of good growth out of your plants, or just cut back the ferts a little bit and cut back the lights a little bit. Which one to do first is kind of up to you, and see where it goes from there, because it's usually always too high a light or too much nutrients. A combo of both. Okay. Let's see. All right, I think I'm almost at the bottom. J. Oliver, good to see you in here, buddy. Hope you're doing well too.